Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about Austin's DoorDash for Condoms program. Obviously, that's not really what it's officially called, so maybe you think that's a little bit clickbaity, but I think it's a pretty fair description of the program. You can see here this screen grab. You can see the URL at the top. I'll include the links below, but literally look through our catalog of condoms, call this number in the city, and it will be delivered to you in under a week. Lest you think that's just some old page that I found that's not real anymore, here's a Facebook post from Austin Public Health from a little bit earlier in the year advertising the same program with the same number. And also, lest you think that this is, you just get some government cheese kind of condoms, you have a whole buffet of options for your standard gentleman, your larger gentleman, maybe your thinner gentleman. Maybe your gentleman just isn't ribbed or studded or flavored. You have something for everyone. And no, I did not Photoshop that Austin Public Health logo. This is again on the city site. Again, I'll include links down below. And hey, maybe you think this is a good idea. Maybe you think it's a bad idea. Maybe you think it's just kind of a silly idea. It is a very public part of the city's HIV program, and I think it's a good excuse to explore the rest of the HIV program. So for starters, what's the problem we're talking about? The most recent numbers I could find from the state or the city are that there's about 5,400 people living with HIV in Travis County. That was in 2021, so 4 or 5 years ago, depending on when you're watching this. And so, obviously, there's probably more now. And let's just round up, we'll say an 85% increase and say that there are 10,000 people living with HIV in Travis County 4 years later. That'll make the math easier as well. So we're going to assume there's 10,000 people in Travis County with HIV. And now, if you go to the city budget, again, I'll include links below, and you just do a search on HIV or AIDS, you can find all of the programs that are tagged for this. And it totals up to $13 million in funding, as well as 29 full-time employees that are working to address this issue that is facing, on the high end, 10,000 citizens of Travis County. Another way to look at it might be that the public health department's budget is around $99 million. So this is just under 13% of the entire Austin public health budget dedicated to these 10,000 people. And some of you may have noticed that this is all grants, right? Grants, if you don't know, are money from the state or federal government that's distributed for all variety of purposes. And so technically, your taxes didn't go up to fund any of these programs. And if they went away tomorrow, technically, your taxes wouldn't go down. So you could say, who cares, right? If someone else wants to give the city money, let them. No harm, no foul. Except it's not really that simple. Grants have costs before, during, and after you get them, right? Before, there's an entire industry of people searching for these grants and applying for them. Grant writers is a position within the city. There are entire freelance careers, entire consulting agencies whose whole business is built around finding and applying for these things. So it is not free money at all. And even if you get the money, during it, there is all sorts of compliance and tracking costs associated with keeping the grant. And grant manager, also a full-time career for many people. So already we've got a lot of costs baked in before we've even done anything to address whatever the grant is supposed to address. And more interesting from our perspective is the staff that remains after a grant is canceled. If it goes away, then what happens? Well, like we mentioned, there's staff that's been hired. There are citizens, constituents for the services they were providing, right? There's an entire group of people who are invested and who have benefited from this grant. And politicians, city council isn't going to want to upset those people. So it's very common after a grant goes away for the city to backfill that money with tax dollars later, right? So grants aren't some free temporary fund money, right? They are potentially expensive first steps to permanent funding commitments from the city and the city council. And if that strikes you as maybe paranoid, maybe sort of a conspiracy theory, I can show you that, again, in Austin's most recent budget, public health is already doing that. Already $1.6 million being spent from the general fund to backfill public health grants that might be going away. And also already, you look a little lower, we're also adding almost $1 million for ongoing funding to increase permanent staff to address HIV in the city. So with that in mind, let's go back to the condom delivery. There's every reason to believe that this program is here and it's here to stay. If you think I've missed something or I've overstated something, feel free to let me know in the comments. But either way, I encourage you, if you love this or you hate it, I encourage you to contact your council member and ask what they plan to do about this program when and if the grant money runs out. If you love it, you need to know that it's going to be there. If you hate it, you need to start speaking out about it now. I'll also include a link to figure out which council member reports to you. I think that's it for now. I'll see you guys on the next go round.